Morning, guys. Um, First off, I want to start with a congratulations to Coquise Washington and the women's basketball team. I just found out they won their opener, which is great, and first game for Coach Washington. So thrilled for them, and also want to wish Coach Pikes and the men's team um, good luck tonight against Columbia and all season long. Excited. Big Rutgers basketball fan, men's and women, so excited for that season to start. So let's talk about our season. Michigan State going on the road, tough Big Ten environment. Weather should be a factor. Starting to get into the pretend weather that we have today and we had all last week. It's going to get real here in a hurry, so it'll be part of the game. Wind, cold, Big Ten football. So from there, answer anything I can.
Just with the player in Gavin's situation, this is probably the most adversity he's experienced on a football field in a long time, just because of the level of talent that he's now going up against consistently. I guess, how do you kind of guide a player through this and not getting too discouraged, him getting too discouraged, but also learning from mistakes and things like that, and kind of just keeping him focused on improving?
That's a good question. I think it's all process related, right? You stick to the process, almost boringly so. At this stage, if I can read out every single play, if I can run the huddle operation, if I can run the line of scrimmage operation and stay focused solely on those things, the results will be good because you are very talented. The minute you start looking at the prize, that's when bad things happen. So just stay in the process. He's gifted. That'll take care of itself.
How's Noah been through this process with Gavin and taking that kind of secondary role?
Noah's been great. He's helped him a lot. He's coached him a lot. Noah's going into coaching as a profession. At least that's what he says he wants to do. He's going to be an excellent coach if that's what he does. He'll be excellent at whatever he does. Very focused young man, very smart. I think I probably should share with you guys the extent. He had a very extensive hand surgery, and it wasn't just hey, let's go in there and tweak this or tweak that. They kind of did a lot, and what comes from that is very frustrating for him because he can release the ball and it feels just like it used to, and other times he can release the ball and why did it do that? And that's all part of coming back from the surgery. But when you're a quarterback, that's a tough place, to not have total control. So is it frustrating for him? Sure it is. But he's been an incredible teammate, worked really hard to help Gavin and help me and help the team and help Coach Nuns. And he's continuing to work to get better. And if we need him, I think he's ready. But he's been just, a captain in the true sense of the word.
Before Gavin's injury, he was running the ball a lot more. Just curious about why his carries and that aspect of his game has kind of dropped off a little bit since his injury.
Well, I think that's certainly part of it, right? We're trying to make sure that he is able to continue to play, but there is room for that. There's more room for him to run the ball for sure. It seems so simple. Well, just do a run play. Well, every single thing you do with him adds up. And we just have to pick and choose what it is we want to focus on right now with him. And coming off, he's not 100% healthy either. So just because he's able to play doesn't mean that his ankle's healed. It still bothers him. There's times you can see him noticeably limping, but he's gotten through it. So we're trying to probably be a little cautious there, but he's getting better, and I think you'll see more of that as time goes on because he is capable.
I don't think Deion Jennings played a snap in the second half. How is he? And Jimmy Wright Collins played a lot of snaps in his place. How did you think he performed in that spot?
Well, I think first off, Jameer stepped up and did a good job. Deion's been playing very well all season long. I mean, really, someone who has stood out to me as a guy on defense that's playing very well, consistently well. He's got an issue, and we won't know until the end of the week if he's going to be able to go or not. So that'll be, I don't know if it'll be a game time decision, but it could be.
weeks, how much of that has been a product of just going up against good rush defenses, and how much of that is certain things that maybe the running backs could do a little bit better, or the offensive line?
Probably some of both. I think they are two of the top rush defenses in the country, not to mention in the Big Ten. But we have to do a better job. We have to do a better job with our blocking up front. We have to do a better job seeing it and running the play the way that it's designed, and then let your abilities take over. And a little bit to your point, we have to make sure that the quarterback is a viable runner, whether we run him or not. You know, he only becomes viable when he runs. They have to believe that he'll run, and so we have to do some of that. So we have to work to get better in the run game, because it's not fair to put that kind of load on a rookie quarterback to carry the game through the air.
What do you think the biggest challenges are facing this Michigan State team?
I think they're very big up front. They're very physical. They're a traditional Michigan State team. Their linebacker, 23, is just a really good player. He's been playing for a long time. I think he's the glue to that whole group. They've got a really good secondary. Now a couple guys are out right now, but who knows? That's not my purview. Who will be out and when will be out. We're just getting ready for everybody. But I think defensively they have a unit that is strong and can run. Offensively, they've played a few different running backs, so I think it's kind of by committee. But quarterback is a returning guy that did very well and is doing very well, and I think their receiving core, they have some guys that can go up and make the play on the 50-50 ball as well as run by you. So, yeah, I think it's a huge challenge. They're always good on special teams. Coach Tucker does a tremendous job in all three phases. I think they really play together complementary football, so it's going to be a challenge, and especially you go out to their stadium and the weather. It's going to be an old-fashioned Big Ten game, and we have to be ready for it. We have to be ready to take our game on the road and go win a game in someone else's stadium.
To that end, your first game here was obviously that road win at Michigan State. You guys have won a couple of Big Ten road games in your first 2 years. What is the key to stealing a win on the road in the Big Ten?
Well, I don't think it's stealing. You got to go win it, right? If you're stealing, then it's not yours. Last time I checked, it's not their game, right? We're both playing, so. But. Yeah, we got to go do the things I said. It's got to be process-oriented, right? That's what CHOP is. We got to go out there and chop the moment by moment. We got to stay on the job at hand. Forget about the result that sits out here. And I've told you guys before, and I tell the players, the two biggest thieves, right? The past and the future. We got to stay right here in the present and chop the moment. And it's going to be hard because there's going to be a lot of things going on that will try to distract you. The opponent, very good. The crowd. It'll be a big crowd. The weather, it'll be cold, windy. There's plenty of things that will distract you. What's on the line, right? We're playing meaningful games in November, right? So that's a couple years in a row now we're playing meaningful games in November. Well, with that meaningfulness comes a little bit more of, this means something. So we got to take all that, put it aside, and focus on our job.
What have you seen from Wesley Bailey over the course of the season?
He's had a really good year. He started out as a guy that we were hopeful he would do what we thought he would do, and I think he's consistently performing. He plays with great energy. He plays with physicality, and he's only going to get better. He's only going to get bigger. He's only going to get stronger. He's fat. Now, he's gotten quite a bit bigger, as you've seen, but I think he's a young football player that's got a lot of great ball ahead of him.
I think you said 2 questions ago, you're preparing like every Michigan State player is going to play.
How do you know?
Obviously, that's not your, like you said, it's not your purview, but
Right.
Is that difficult to prepare for? How do you kind of go after that challenge?
No, I think sometimes that gets overblown, right? Like, yes, if he was the starter, he is the best player, otherwise he wouldn't be starting, right? That's usually the way it works. But it's not like the next guy is like a dud. Those are Big Ten scholarship football players, and we're going to prepare because I'm pretty sure they're going to have 11 out there, and we got to go, do what we do against 11 guys, and they're all good players. So I don't get overly – now, when you have a guy that is a quote-unquote, disrupt the game type player, yeah, then if he's playing, you better know he's in the game, whether it's offense, defense, or in the kicking game. There are certain guys in the Big Ten Conference that can single-handedly disrupt plays. And if they're out there, you better know about it. So we're going to be aware of their personnel. We always are. And, again, how do I know? I can't predict that stuff. I don't even try to worry about that.
Just with Aaron Young, I guess, how has he been coming through with this, coming back from the injury? Now that he's getting more and more snaps, how's he, is he health-wise, is he still okay?
So far, so good. Yeah, I mean, he's been able to answer the bell each week, right? And he's played more and more. And I think he'll play more this week. I hope he does. I think we got to remember, we got to think back to last year. I mean, he was the most efficient runner we had as far as when you just look at his plays. So I expect to see more of him. I think we'll see all three running backs. And we, like I said earlier, we have to run the football better.
Just to be clear, Gavin Wimsatt is the starting quarterback for Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're making that decision to start Gavin, how much does Noah's injury kind of, I don't want to say make the decision easier for you, but obviously he's a bit limited. Did that have any factor in the?
Yeah, no, I'm not going to get into all my criteria. Imagine if I started doing that at every decision, right? That would get, not only we'd be here for a long time, but that would expose how I think. And I mean, some might say, well, that'd be a scary thing, but that's okay. Everybody can have their opinion. But, yeah, I'll just leave it at that. I mean, it's Monday, and I'm telling you who the starter is. Isn't that good enough? Yeah. All right. Thanks, guys.